Welcome to the Jungle Stroll. Today, we have an incredibly powerful episode for you. We're going to break down a system that could fundamentally change how you view your work, your time, and your life. This is not just theory. This is a practical blueprint for freedom. You absolutely want to listen all the way to the end because the steps we outline today are real and they are achievable.
Are you sitting in traffic right now? Or maybe you're staring at a spreadsheet under the glow of fluorescent lights. Are you counting down the hours until Friday? The days until your next vacation? The years until retirement? For generations, we've all been sold the same story. It's like a social contract. It goes like this. Go to school, get a good job, and work hard for 40, maybe 50 years. Save your money diligently. And then you can finally live. Then you can travel. Then you can pursue your passions. Then you can be free. This is what's called the deferred life plan. And my goal today is to convince you that it is the most dangerous lie you've ever been told.
Today, we are not just reviewing a book. We are staging a jailbreak. This is your definitive, expert-level masterclass on one of the most life-altering books of the 21st century, Timothy Ferriss's The 4-Hour Workweek. This isn't just a summary. This is a blueprint. We will go step by step through the entire system, the deal framework. I will arm you with modern, real-world examples. We'll give you actionable strategies that will make these concepts feel so real, so personal. You'll feel like they were written specifically for you. By the end of this episode, you won't just understand the theory. You will have a clear, tangible plan to begin your own escape. So, plug in, tune out the noise, and let's begin.
D is for definition. Stop drifting and start designing. This is the foundation. This is the most crucial part of our journey today. Without it, everything else is just a collection of clever tricks. Before you can escape the rat race, you have to define what you are running towards. You need absolute, unflinching clarity. So many of us are experts in what we dislike. We can list, in painful detail, everything we hate about our jobs, our commutes, our schedules. But when you ask, what do you want instead? The answers get vague. I want to be happy. I want more freedom. I want to travel. These are not goals, they are wishes. They are unactionable dreams that keep us stuck. This first section, D for definition, is about replacing that vague dissatisfaction. We're replacing it with a crystal clear, mathematically sound, and emotionally resonant vision of your ideal life. We're going to dismantle the old definitions of success and wealth. We'll confront the fears that have been holding you hostage. And then we'll build a new, tangible blueprint for your future. Most people drift through life reacting to things. Today, you learn to become the architect of your circumstances.
Let's begin by tearing down the biggest idol of the deferred life plan, the definition of wealth. Society gives us a very narrow picture of what it means to be rich. It's a number in a bank account, a fancy car, a big house. But the book argues this is a dangerously incomplete picture. To understand the alternative, we need to understand two groups of people. There are the diverse and what Ferriss calls the new rich. The diverse are the vast majority. They are the people who work their entire lives for a paycheck. They sacrifice their best years, their health, their time, their energy. All for the promise of a golden retirement that is never guaranteed. They are playing the long game, hoping to cash in their chips at age 65. The new rich, on the other hand, reject this completely. They don't want to be millionaires in the future. They want to live like millionaires now. And they do this not by hoarding cash, but by designing lifestyles that maximize freedom and experience in the present. The key is a huge paradigm shift in how we measure wealth.
Let's talk about the concept of absolute versus relative income. Absolute income is the number you see on your tax return. It's the raw figure we're all taught to chase. An investment banker making $500,000 a year working 80-hour weeks has a massive absolute income. Society sees this person as the pinnacle of success. They have a prestigious job, a high salary, and all the status that comes with it. But the new rich play a different game, measured by a different currency, relative income. Relative income is a much more powerful equation. It measures not just money, but money and time. Let's look at that investment banker again. They make $500,000 a year, which sounds amazing. But if they work 80 hours a week for 50 weeks a year, that's 4,000 hours of work. Their hourly wage is just $125. Now, think about a freelance graphic designer who earns $80,000 a year. By society's standards, they are far less successful. But what if this designer only works 10 hours a week? That's 500 hours a year. Their effective hourly wage is $160. Suddenly, the picture changes. The designer is earning more per hour than the banker. They have more time for hobbies, for family, for health, for life itself. According to the new rich philosophy, the designer is far wealthier.
This concept is amplified by what Ferriss calls the freedom multiplier. He argues that the practical value of your money is multiplied by the number of W's you control in your life. What you do, when you do it, where you do it, and with whom you do it. The person who has control over these 4 variables possesses true power. Options, the ability to choose, is the real definition of wealth. It's not a number in a bank account.
To really get this, it's helpful to distinguish the new rich from new money. Society usually thinks of wealth in 2 categories, old money and new money. Old money refers to generational wealth passed down through families. Think of the Rockefellers. Their lifestyle is often about tradition, discretion, and understated elegance. They might wear a timeless blazer with no logo, drive a classic Bentley, and vacation at a private family estate. Their lives are often dictated by legacy and social obligations. New money, or the nouveau riche, are self-made millionaires who earned their fortune in their own lifetime. Tech moguls, celebrity influencers, lottery winners. Their lifestyle is often about conspicuous consumption. This is the flashy Lamborghini, the head-to-toe designer logos, the extravagant parties. They use money to signal their new status. Often, they are still trading massive amounts of their time to earn more money. They are trapped in the work-to-spend cycle, just with more expensive toys. Ferriss's new rich is a third, revolutionary archetype. The new rich reject the goals of both old and new money. They are not interested in legacy or status signaling. They use money as a tool to acquire freedom. Their primary goal is autonomy. The fantasy isn't having $1 million in the bank. The fantasy is the lifestyle of complete freedom that money is supposed to allow.
So, while a new money person might spend $300,000 on a Ferrari to impress people, a member of the new rich might do something different. They might use an automated income of $5,000 a month to live in a beautiful villa in Thailand for a year. In Thailand, that $5,000 a month gives them the purchasing power of someone earning $20,000 or $30,000 a month in New York. They're effectively living a millionaire's lifestyle. They have personal chefs, housekeepers, and ample time for travel and learning. And it's all on a fraction of the income. They aren't trying to look rich. They're focused on living richly. A life defined by experiences, personal growth, and control over their own time.
Let's make this even more concrete with a final example. Imagine Sarah, a corporate lawyer in Chicago. She earns $350,000 a year, a very high absolute income. But she works 70 hours a week, is tethered to her phone, and lives in a state of chronic stress. Her identity is her job. Her 2 weeks of vacation are spent frantically trying to decompress. Now picture Ben. Ben is a freelance web developer with a small, automated business selling custom WordPress themes. He earns $80,000 a year. But he only works about 15 hours a week to maintain his business. He does it from his laptop in a beautiful, affordable apartment in Lisbon, Portugal. He spends his afternoons surfing, his evenings learning Portuguese, and his weekends exploring Europe. Who is truly wealthier? Who has more power over their life? The New Rich philosophy argues, unequivocally, that it is Ben. He has a higher relative income, and, most importantly, he controls all 4 W's of his life. He has achieved the goal that the lawyer is deferring until she's 65. This is the new definition of wealth we are working towards.
Now that we have a new, more empowering definition of wealth, we have to confront the single biggest obstacle. The thing that prevents people from pursuing it. It's not a lack of money. It's not a lack of skills or opportunity. The single greatest inhibitor is fear. Vague, undefined, paralyzing fear. As the book says, most people will choose unhappiness over uncertainty. They will stay in a job they hate, in a life that drains them. They do this simply because the known misery feels safer than the unknown possibility of something better. Fear thrives in the dark. It feeds on ambiguity. When our fears are just a swirling cloud of anxiety in our heads, what if I fail? What if people judge me? They have immense power over us.
The solution, inspired by the ancient Stoic philosophers like Seneca, is to drag these fears into the light. We need to dissect them with cold, hard logic. This is the purpose of the exercise Ferriss calls fear-setting. The origin of this tool is just as important as the tool itself. It shows that even people who seem successful are often trapped by fear. Back in 2004, Tim Ferriss owned a sports supplement company. On paper, he was crushing it, making $70,000 a month. But in reality, the business was destroying him. He was working 14-hour days, 7 days a week. He was on the verge of a complete nervous breakdown. He knew he needed to escape, but he was paralyzed by fear. He thought, if I step away for even a week, the whole business will collapse. This fear kept him locked in a prison of his own making. Fear-setting was the key he forged to unlock his own cage. And now, we want to walk you through this exact process. I encourage you to pause if you need to, grab a pen and paper, and do this exercise with us. This isn't just theory, it's a practical tool for liberation.
Step 1. Define the nightmare. First, take 1 sheet of paper. At the very top, write down the action you are afraid to take. Let's use a common example, quitting my stable 9-to-5 job to start my own online business. Now, create 3 columns on this page. Label them, define, prevent, and repair. In that first column, define, I want you to list every single one of your fears. Write down the absolute worst-case scenarios you can possibly imagine. Be specific. Let the monster out of the closet and write it all down. For example, I'll burn through all my savings and go bankrupt. I'll have to move back in with my parents in shame. My partner will lose respect for me. My friends and former colleagues will think I'm a complete failure. I'll never be able to get another good job in my industry again. I'll end up homeless and destitute. My business idea is stupid and no one will buy my product. Write down at least 10, preferably 20, of these nightmare scenarios. Get it all out.
Step 2. Prevent. Now, move to the second column, prevent. Next to each nightmare you've listed, write down what you could do to prevent it from happening, or at least to decrease the probability of it occurring. This is where you shift from being a victim to being a strategic planner. To prevent going bankrupt, I will save up 6 to 12 months of essential living expenses before I quit my job. To prevent moving back in with parents, I will calculate my bare-bones budget and find a cheaper apartment. To prevent being seen as a failure, I will communicate my plan clearly to my friends and family, framing it as a calculated experiment. To prevent becoming unemployable, I will continue to network and document all the new skills I'm learning. Go down your list and create a preventative action for every single fear. Step 3. Repair. In the third column, repair, you're going to plan for the worst. If your nightmare scenario actually comes true, what would you do to repair the damage? If the business fails and you lose your savings? I could get a temporary job as a bartender. I could reach out to my professional network for freelance projects. I could sell my car. If your reputation is damaged, I would frame the experience on my resume as a valuable entrepreneurial endeavor. What you will discover is that the permanent, life-ruining disasters you imagine are almost all temporary and reversible. The impact might be a 3 or 4 out of 10, not a 10 out of 10. You can recover. You can rebuild.
Step 4. The benefits of an attempt. Now, take a fresh sheet of paper. On this page, list all the potential benefits of simply attempting this action, even if you only achieve partial success. What would be the positive outcomes? You would gain incredible new skills: marketing, sales, financial management. You would build immense confidence just by taking a risk. You would expand your network. You would finally know the answer to what if, instead of living with regret. Even if the business fails, these new skills and this new confidence would make you a far more valuable candidate for your next job. Step 5. The cost of inaction. This is the final and arguably most important step. Take a third sheet of paper. At the top, write the cost of inaction. Now, be brutally, painfully honest with yourself. What will your life look like financially, emotionally, and physically in 6 months, in 1 year, and in 5 years if you do nothing? If you stay on your current path? Think about the slow, creeping boredom. The stress that accumulates day after day. The feeling of being trapped. The gradual erosion of your health. The nagging regret that grows louder each year. For most people, this page, the cost of the status quo, is far more terrifying than the page of worst-case scenarios.
This exercise works because it attacks a common psychological trap called optimistic denial. This is the little voice in your head that says, "Oh, my job isn't that bad," or "things will probably get better next year." It's the tendency to pretend an unsatisfying situation will magically improve on its own. The cost of inaction step shatters this denial. It forces you to project your current, unsatisfactory reality into the future. It makes the slow, guaranteed decay of your potential a tangible and visceral threat. It reframes the entire concept of risk. Suddenly, the biggest risk isn't trying and failing. The biggest risk is not trying at all.
After using fear setting to dismantle the emotional roadblocks, we need a destination. We need a clear, exciting, and concrete vision to move towards. This is where dreamlining comes in. Vague goals like, "I want to be rich," are useless because they are ambiguous and unactionable. Dreamlining is the process of converting those foggy wishes into a defined, costed out, and time-bound action plan. It's about putting your dreams on a timeline.
The process begins with brainstorming. Take a sheet of paper and create 2 timelines, one for 6 months and one for 12 months. For each timeline, you're going to list up to 5 things you want in 3 distinct categories. The first category is having. These are the material things you want to own. Don't be shy. If you want a new MacBook Pro, a beautiful vintage watch, or a down payment for a cabin, list it here. The second category is being. These are the skills you want to acquire or the states of being you want to achieve. This is about who you want to become. Examples could include being fluent in Spanish, being a great cook, being a published author, or being in the best shape of your life. The third category is doing. These are the experiences you want to have. This is often the most exciting category. What do you want to do? Maybe it's taking a 1-month trip to Italy, learning to tango in Buenos Aires, or volunteering at an animal sanctuary. Take your time with this. The book cautions that if you find this exercise difficult, it's a sign that you need it more than anyone. We've been conditioned for so long to be realistic that we've forgotten how to dream. If you're stuck, ask yourself this question: what would I do day to day if I had $100 million in the bank? Forget how you'd get it. Just imagine the life. What would make you excited to wake up in the morning?
Once you have your lists, the next step is where the magic happens. This is the part that creates what I call the shock of attainability. From your lists, pick the 4 most important dreams, the ones that would fundamentally change your life. Now, you're going to calculate the actual cost of these dreams. People assume that their dream life would cost millions of dollars, but this is almost never true. Let's look at Tim Ferriss's own example from the book. His dreamline included driving an Aston Martin DB9, hiring a full-time personal assistant, and taking a month-long trip to the Croatian coast. Sounds like the life of a multimillionaire, right? But when he broke it down, the monthly cost of leasing the car and hiring the assistant, plus the trip, required a target daily income of just $197.90. Think about that. A life with a supercar and a personal assistant costs less than what many people spend on rent and car payments. This calculation is a profound psychological breakthrough. It takes the unrealistic goal and grounds it in simple, undeniable arithmetic. When you realize that your dream of living in Bali for 3 months actually costs less than your current life, that dream instantly shifts. It goes from an impossible fantasy to a logistical puzzle. It demystifies the millionaire lifestyle by revealing it's not about massive income, it's about intelligent lifestyle design.
To help you do this for yourself, let's create a simple Dreamline worksheet. You can draw this out right now. Make 4 columns. Let me describe how to fill it out. In column 1, Dream, write down one of your top 4 dreams. Let's use an example. Learn to surf in Costa Rica for 1 month. In column 2, Cost, do the research. Find the real, all-in cost. A flight might be $600. A month of surf school could be $1,000. A simple Airbnb for a month might be $1,200. The total cost is $2,800. In column 3, Target monthly income, or TMI, you translate that total cost into a monthly goal. If your timeline is 6 months, you divide $2,800 by 6, which is about $467 per month. This is the amount you need to add to your income, or save from your current one, to fund this dream. You then add this to your regular monthly expenses, plus a 30% buffer for safety. This final number is your TMI. Divide that by 30, and you have your target daily income, or TDI. Seeing your dream life broken down into a daily number makes it feel incredibly real and manageable.
In column 4, first action step, this is the most critical part. What is one tiny, concrete action you can take in the next 5 minutes to move toward this dream? Plan my trip is too big. That leads to procrastination. The action needs to be microscopic. How about Google best surf schools for beginners in Tamarindo, Costa Rica? Or email my friend Sarah, who went to Costa Rica last year, and ask for recommendations. Or check my passport's expiration date. The goal is to create immediate, undeniable momentum. The combination of fear-setting and dreamlining is the powerful 1-2 punch that concludes the definition phase. Fear-setting removes the emotional brakes. Dreamlining provides the exciting, attainable destination. You now know what you're afraid of, and you know it's manageable. You now know exactly where you want to go, and you know it's cheaper than you thought. The fog has lifted. Now, it's time to start building the vehicle to get you there.
Welcome back. In part 1, we defined our destination. We replaced vague dissatisfaction with a clear, costed-out vision of our dream life. Now, in part 2, E for Elimination, we begin the practical work of reclaiming our most valuable resource, time. The average person believes that to achieve more, they must do more. They believe productivity is about cramming more tasks into their day and working longer hours. This section is about destroying that myth. The goal here is to free up massive amounts of time. At least 20 hours a week, if not more. We'll do this not by working faster, but by ruthlessly, systematically, and intelligently eliminating the things that simply do not matter. This is the crucial distinction between being efficient and being effective. Efficiency is doing something well. Effectiveness is doing the right things well. As we're about to see, most of the world is incredibly efficient at being ineffective.
Our first tool for elimination is the Pareto principle, or the 80-20 rule. It was discovered by an Italian economist, Vilfredo Pareto. He observed that 80% of the land in Italy was owned by just 20% of the population. He then noticed this unequal distribution everywhere. For instance, 80% of the peas in his garden came from 20% of the pea pods. The principle holds that, in many situations, roughly 80% of the results come from 20% of the causes or efforts. This isn't a mystical law, it's a mathematical reality. 80% of traffic is on 20% of the roads. 80% of a company's profits often come from 20% of its customers. 80% of software crashes are caused by 20% of the bugs.
Now, here is Ferriss's central argument about modern work culture. The most common failure of productivity is applying efficiency to unimportant tasks. He famously states, doing something unimportant well does not make it important. Think about that. You can become the world's fastest filer of useless paperwork. You can answer unimportant emails with lightning speed. You can attend pointless meetings with perfect punctuality. You are being efficient, but you are not being effective. You are just spinning your wheels. Ferriss goes further, calling our cultural obsession with being busy a form of intellectual laziness. Being busy is an excuse. It's a way to avoid the hard thinking required to identify what is truly important and what is just noise. It's easier to fill your day with 50 small, trivial tasks than it is to identify and execute the 1 or 2 critical tasks that will actually move the needle.
So, how do we apply this principle to our own lives? Let's look at some practical examples. At your job, take a hard look at your daily activities. Which 20% of your tasks generate 80% of the value you provide? Is it closing new clients? Is it writing critical code? Identify that vital 20%. The other 80%, the internal meetings, the endless email chains, the admin reports, are candidates for elimination. For customers/clients, if you're in a client-facing role, which 20% of your clients generate 80% of your revenue? Now, ask the flip side, which 20% of your clients cause 80% of your stress and complaints? The strategy is simple. Find ways to delight and retain that top 20% of clients. And then, you must find the courage to fire the bottom 20% of problem clients. They're costing you more in time and energy than their revenue is worth.
In your home, this principle is a powerful engine for decluttering. Clothing, look in your closet. You almost certainly wear 20% of your clothes 80% of the time. The rest is just clutter. Kitchen, you probably use the same 20% of your kitchen utensils for 80% of your cooking. Books and media, you probably reread 20% of the books on your shelf, while the other 80% collect dust. In your personal life. Relationships, this can be a tough one, but it's true. 20% of the people in your life likely bring you 80% of your joy and positive energy. Conversely, a small number of people might be the source of 80% of your drama and stress. The 80-20 rule isn't about cutting people off callously. It is a lens to help you consciously decide where to invest your precious emotional energy.
It is crucial to understand that the 80-20 principle is not just a passive observation. Ferriss reframes it as an active, recurring diagnostic tool for your entire life. He recommends conducting an 80-20 analysis on your business and personal life regularly, perhaps every month or quarter. This transforms the principle from something you know into something you do. The process is a continuous loop of 2 questions. First, what is the 20% of sources causing 80% of my problems and unhappiness? Second, what is the 20% of sources resulting in 80% of my desired outcomes and happiness? The action plan that follows is brutally simple. Find the commonalities in the first group and eliminate them. Find the commonalities in the second group and double down on them. This is how you systematically optimize your life for maximum output and happiness with minimum input and stress.
Our second tool for elimination is a law of time management called Parkinson's law. It states that work expands so as to fill the time available for its completion. This is an experience every single one of us has had. Think back to your university days. You were assigned a 15-page term paper with 3 full months to complete it. For weeks, that paper loomed in the back of your mind. It felt like a monumental task. But when did you actually write the bulk of it? For most of us, it was in a caffeine-fueled, 48-hour panic right before the deadline. And you got it done. What happened? The immense pressure of the imminent deadline forced you to focus only on the most essential actions. You didn't have time for perfectionism. You didn't have time for writer's block. You had to research, outline, write, and edit with ruthless efficiency. The task that had mentally expanded to fill 3 months was compressed and completed in 2 days.
Most people experience Parkinson's law as a source of stress. But Ferriss argues that we should flip this on its head and use it as an offensive weapon for productivity. Instead of letting deadlines happen to us, we should intentionally impose them on ourselves to create focus. By setting artificially short and aggressive deadlines for your most important tasks, the 20% you identified, you force your brain to find the shortest path to completion. This is a powerful form of creative constraint. When you give yourself only 90 minutes to write a report that you would normally take all day to do, you don't have time to check social media. You don't have time for perfectionism. You just do the work. You focus on the critical path and ignore everything else.
The true power of the elimination phase comes from combining these 2 laws. This is the engine of the 4-hour workweek. Pareto's law, 80/20, tells you what to do. It helps you identify the few critical tasks that will generate the most significant results. Parkinson's law tells you how to do it quickly. It provides the constraint that forces you to execute those tasks with maximum focus. Here's how it looks in practice. At the end of your workday, identify the 1 or 2 most important things you need to accomplish tomorrow. That's using Pareto. Then, when you start your day, give yourself a single, short, uninterrupted block of time, say 90 minutes, to complete the first task. That's using Parkinson. Set a timer. During that 90 minutes, you do nothing else. No email, no phone, no distractions. You will be astonished at what you can accomplish when you combine laser-like focus with a tight deadline. You can often get more done in that 90 minutes than you would in an entire day of distracted work.
We've identified our critical tasks and we have a strategy for executing them quickly. But there's a final enemy we must defeat: interruption. In our hyper-connected world, the default state is distraction. Your attention is the most valuable currency you possess, and every app, notification, and colleague is trying to steal it. To combat this, Ferriss proposes adopting a low-information diet. The thesis comes from the economist Herbert Simon, who said, "A wealth of information creates a poverty of attention." This is the central problem of the modern knowledge worker. We are drowning in information, and our ability to focus is collapsing. The constant barrage of emails, Slack messages, quick questions, and pointless meetings is the death of deep work. We have been conditioned to believe that being busy and responsive is the same as being productive. It is not. A low-information diet is about becoming a ruthless gatekeeper of your own focus. It's about consciously choosing what information you consume and when you consume it. It's about reclaiming your time and attention.
Here are some powerful, practical tactics you can implement immediately. Number 1. Master your email with batching. This is non-negotiable. The single most destructive habit in the modern office is keeping your email client open all day. Every new message is a potential interruption that shatters your focus. Research shows that after an interruption, it can take over 20 minutes to get back to your previous level of concentration. The solution is to batch your email. This means checking and processing your email only at set times during the day. A good starting point is twice a day, once around 11 a.m. or noon, and again around 4 p.m. For the rest of the day, your email client is closed. All notifications, on your computer and your phone, are turned off. I promise you, the world will not end.
Number 2. Deploy the autoresponder shield. To manage the expectations of people used to you responding instantly, set up a powerful email autoresponder. It should be polite but firm. It could say something like, "Thank you for your message. In an effort to be more productive, I am only checking emails twice daily at 12 p.m. and 4 p.m. If your matter is truly urgent, please call me at this number. Otherwise, I will respond during my next scheduled email block. Thank you." You will be absolutely amazed at how few of those urgent matters are actually urgent enough for someone to pick up the phone. You are training them to respect your time.
Number 3. Declare war on meetings. Meetings are one of the biggest time sinks in corporate culture. Ferriss advocates for a simple rule: never accept a meeting that does not have a clear, predefined agenda and a specific goal. If the purpose is just to share information, it should be an email. If a meeting is necessary, keep it as short as humanly possible. Number 4. Empower others to act. For managers, a major source of interruption is being the bottleneck for decisions. If your employees have to come to you for permission for every little thing, you have created another job for yourself. The solution is to create systems, rules, and guidelines that empower them to act autonomously. Give them the authority to make decisions up to a certain financial threshold. The goal is to manage the system, not the people.
A critical realization here is that you cannot be passive in this process. You must actively train your environment. Many people feel powerless against the flood of interruptions from their boss, clients, and colleagues. They feel a professional obligation to be available at all times. Ferriss's framework reframes this as a training issue. You are the one who teaches people how to interact with you. By setting up systems like autoresponders and establishing clear office hours, you are not being rude. You are teaching your professional ecosystem to be more efficient, organized, and respectful of everyone's time. Initially, you might encounter some friction. But when they realize you are still reliable and produce higher quality results, they will adapt. You are not just managing your own time, you're upgrading the communication culture of everyone you interact with.
We have arrived at the third stage of our blueprint, A for automation. In the first stage, definition, we created a clear picture of our ideal life. In the second stage, elimination, we clawed back huge chunks of our time. Now, we need to build the engine that will fund our new life of freedom. This section is all about creating an automated vehicle for cash flow. A business that is designed from the very beginning to work for you, not because of you. This is the part of the plan that allows you to get paid while you sleep, while you travel, while you live your dream life.
The core concept of this section is the muse. A muse, in Ferriss's terminology, is a small, niche business designed specifically to generate automated, passive income. This is a fundamentally different goal from a traditional small business. You are not trying to build the next Google or create another demanding job for yourself. The primary objective of a muse is to achieve management by absence. It's a business that, once set up, can run almost entirely on its own.
To qualify as a muse, a business idea must meet 4 strict criteria. First, it must sell a product. This is the most important rule. The business must sell a physical or, even better, a digital product. It cannot be a service business where you trade time for money. A product can be sold 1,000,000 times with the work only being done once. Second, it must be cheap to test. The initial test to see if people will buy your product must cost less than $500. This prevents you from investing thousands of dollars in something nobody wants. Third, it must be automatable. The entire business must be designed so you can step away from day-to-day operations within a month. Fourth, it must require little maintenance. Once running, it should not require more than 1 day a week to manage. The ultimate goal is less than 4 hours a week.
So, how do you find and build such a business? Ferriss lays out a simple, counterintuitive process. Step 1. Find a niche market first, not a product. This is the reverse of how most people do it. The correct approach is to first identify a market, a specific group of people with shared interests that you are a part of. Are you a passionate rock climber? A dedicated home baker? Start there. Being a member of your target market gives you a huge advantage. Step 2. Brainstorm products for that market. Once you have your niche, brainstorm products you could sell them. The ideal price point for a Muse product is between $50 and $200. It's high enough for profit margins, but low enough for an impulse purchase. Step 3. Micro-test your product. This is the most critical step for avoiding costly failure. Before you spend $1 on manufacturing, test if there is real demand. Run a cheap ad campaign to a landing page that describes the product as if it already exists. Use a simple website with pictures and a Buy Now button. Spend $50 to $100 on targeted ads. Measure how many people click Buy Now. When they click, a page says, out of stock. Enter your email to be notified. The number of clicks on Buy Now is your proof of demand. If enough people try to buy, you have a winner. If not, you've only lost a small amount of money.
This process reveals a deeper insight. The architecture of the business is far more important than the product itself. Most aspiring entrepreneurs are obsessed with their product idea. They think they need to invent something revolutionary. But Ferriss's framework shows that the system is what creates freedom. The goal is not to invent the next iPhone. The goal is to find a simple, niche product that can be plugged into a pre-existing, automated architecture. Your job as the new rich entrepreneur is not to do the work. It's not to manufacture the product, pack the boxes, or answer customer service emails. Your job is to be the architect of the system. You find a third-party manufacturer. You use a third-party fulfillment center to store and ship orders. You hire a virtual assistant to handle customer service. You are the conductor of the orchestra, not a player in it. This is a profound mental shift that separates the free new rich from the overworked traditional small business owner.
The original examples in the book can feel a bit dated. So, let's look at 3 powerful and accessible Muse models for today's digital world. Muse Model 1. Niche dropshipping. The concept, dropshipping, is where a store doesn't keep products in stock. When a store sells a product, it purchases the item from a third party, who then ships it directly to the customer. Your online store is the middleman. You handle the marketing. The supplier handles the inventory and shipping. Your profit is the margin between what the customer pays you and what you pay the supplier.
Let's imagine a character named Alex, supported by his partner, who is passionate about specialty coffee. He's an active member of online coffee forums. He identifies his niche, home espresso enthusiasts. He notices they're always looking for high-quality accessories like tampers and pitchers. Instead of designing them himself, he finds a reliable supplier on a platform like AliExpress. He spends $300 to build a professional-looking store using Shopify. He writes compelling product descriptions. He then runs highly targeted Instagram ads aimed at people who follow famous baristas. Within the first week, he gets his first few sales. As orders grow, the automation kicks in. Shopify processes the payments. A dropshipping app automatically sends the order to his supplier. He then hires a virtual assistant for 3 hours a week to manage customer service emails. Now, Alex's work consists of monitoring his ads and researching new products. This takes him about 3 hours a week. His simple, automated store is now generating a consistent $2,000 a month in profit.
Muse Model 2, the info product, like an online course or ebook. The concept, an information product, is where you package your knowledge and expertise into a digital format and sell it. This could be an online course, an ebook, design templates, or a workout guide. The beauty of info products is the leverage. You do the work once, creating the content, but you can sell it an infinite number of times. There is zero marginal cost of replication. It is the ultimate scalable muse.
Let's meet Maria, who has a supportive partner. She works in marketing and is a wizard with Microsoft Excel. Her colleagues are always asking her for help. She realizes she has a valuable skill that other marketers would pay to learn. She decides to create an online course called Excel for Marketers. Before she records a single video, she validates her idea. She creates a landing page outlining the course and offers an early bird presale on LinkedIn. Enough people sign up to prove there's demand. She then uses an all-in-one platform like Teachable to build and host her course. These platforms handle payments and content delivery automatically. She spends a few weekends recording 10 high-quality video lessons. Once the course is launched, the entire sales and delivery process is automated. Her marketing funnel is also automated. She offers a free downloadable PDF, which enters people into an automated email sequence that eventually offers the full course. Now, Maria's only ongoing work is 1 hour a week answering student questions. Her automated info product brings in a steady $3,000 a month.
Muse Model 3, niche affiliate marketing. The concept, affiliate marketing, is a model where you promote other people's products. You create content, a blog, a YouTube channel, a social media account, around a specific topic. Within that content, you recommend products or services. When a member of your audience clicks on your unique affiliate link and makes a purchase, you earn a commission. You don't have to deal with product creation, inventory, shipping, or customer service. Your only job is to create valuable, trustworthy content.
Finally, let's look at Tom and his partner. Tom is an avid hiker and loves testing out new gear. He decides to start a blog called Trail Tested Trekking. He writes incredibly detailed, honest, and helpful reviews of hiking boots, backpacks, and tents. He joins the Amazon Associates affiliate program and others. In his reviews, he includes affiliate links to the products. His primary strategy is search engine optimization, SEO. He researches what questions people are asking Google, like best waterproof hiking boots. He then writes the most comprehensive article on the internet to answer that question. It takes time, but after a year of consistently publishing one high-quality review per week, his blog starts to rank on Google. Now, thousands of people visit his blog every month. The content he wrote a year ago continues to generate income for him every single day. His work is now just writing one new review a week. His affiliate blog is earning him a passive income of $1,500 a month, which he uses to fund more hiking adventures.
The ultimate form of automation is not software, it's another human being. It's delegation. A virtual assistant, or VA, is a remote professional you hire to handle tasks that are time-consuming but don't require your unique skills. Hiring a VA is how you buy back your time, the most precious commodity of all. This allows you to focus on high-level strategic work for your muse, or better yet, to simply enjoy your freedom.
The biggest mental barrier most people have is thinking, I'm not a CEO. I'm not important enough to have an assistant. Ferriss's response is radical. You should hire a VA even if you don't think you need one. Why? Because hiring and managing a VA is a low-cost MBA in management. For a very small investment, you are forced to learn incredibly valuable business skills. You have to learn how to write a clear job description. You have to learn how to define your processes and create standard operating procedures. You have to learn how to communicate instructions effectively. You have to learn how to give constructive feedback. You have to learn how to manage someone remotely and trust them. These are the fundamental skills of any successful manager or entrepreneur. Furthermore, hiring a VA reinforces the elimination principle. Once you have to pay for a task by the hour, you become ruthless about deciding if that task is truly necessary.
So, let's get practical. How do you actually hire and manage your first VA? Where to look? You can find freelance VAs on sites like Upwork or Fiverr, or use a specialized VA agency. Your first task: do not start by handing over your entire life. Start with a small, well-defined, low-risk test project that takes 2 to 4 hours. This allows you to evaluate their skills and reliability without a major commitment. What can you delegate? You'd be amazed. Personal tasks: researching flights, booking restaurant reservations, scheduling appointments. Business tasks: managing your calendar, filtering your email, doing online research, creating basic presentations, managing social media. The art of a good task request: this is the most important skill. You must be incredibly specific. Don't say, "Find me a good hotel in Paris."
Instead, be precise. Please research 3 4-star hotels in the Lumiere district of Paris for these specific dates. They must have a guest rating of 8.5 or higher and be under $300 per night. Please put the options in a Google Doc with pros and cons.
The more specific you are, the better the result will be. For management, use simple tools like Trello or Asana, schedule brief weekly check-ins, and provide clear, respectful feedback.
To help you get started on building your own muse, let's describe a framework. Imagine a table with 4 columns. This is your muse ideation framework. Let's describe how to use this. In column 1, niche market, write down a community you are a part of. For example, owners of large breed dogs. In column 2, product idea, brainstorm a problem they have. For large dog owners, a common problem is finding a durable dog bed. So, your idea is an orthopedic, chew-proof dog bed for large breeds. In column 3, micro-test method, how can you test this for under $500? Create a simple landing page with 3D renderings of the dog bed. Run targeted Facebook ads to German Shepherd lovers groups. Measure how many people click pre-order now. In column 4, automation plan. If the test is successful, how do you automate? Find a manufacturer on Alibaba. Ship inventory to a third-party logistics warehouse to handle all shipping. Hire a VA to manage customer emails. This framework takes you from a vague interest to a concrete, testable, and automatable business idea. This is the heart of the automation phase. You are no longer just dreaming. You are building the machine that will print your freedom.
We have reached the final, and for many, the most exhilarating and terrifying step, L for liberation. You have done the hard work. You have defined your dream life. You have eliminated time-wasting activities. You have automated your income with a self-sustaining muse. Now it is time to cut the cord. It's time to break free from the traditional 9 to 5 structure and step into the new reality you have so carefully designed. Liberation can take a few different forms. For some, it means quitting their job entirely. For others, it means negotiating a remote work arrangement. We will explore both paths. This is the Great Escape.
You do not have to be an entrepreneur to live the 4-hour workweek lifestyle. One of the most powerful paths to liberation is to achieve location independence within your existing job. You can do this by successfully negotiating a remote or hybrid work arrangement. The key to this negotiation is critical. You must frame your request as a business proposal that benefits the company, not as a personal perk that benefits you. This is where most people fail. They say things like, "I hate my commute," or "I want a better work-life balance." These frame the request around your needs, making it easy for a manager to say no. The correct strategy is to build an undeniable, data-driven business case. You must prove you will be more productive and deliver better results for the company by working remotely. To do this, you must first become a top performer. Your leverage in any negotiation is your value. If you are an indispensable member of the team, they cannot afford to lose you.
Here is a 5-step script you can follow to engineer your escape from the office. Step 1. Quantify your in-office productivity. For 2 weeks, meticulously track your work output. Get hard numbers. Step 2. Propose a revocable trial period. This is the crucial first ask. You are not asking for a permanent change, but a temporary experiment. Say something like, "I have an idea to increase my productivity. I'd like to propose a 2-week trial working from home on Tuesdays and Thursdays. If my performance drops in any way, we can end it immediately." This approach is brilliant because it's low risk and hard to say no to. Step 3. Over-deliver during the trial. Your remote days must become your most productive days. Document your increased output. Step 4. Present the data. After the trial, present the results. For example, during the trial, my output on reports increased by 25% on my remote days. You are no longer talking about feelings, you are talking about business results. Step 5. Expand the arrangement. Based on the success, you can now negotiate a more permanent remote schedule. During this, you must anticipate objections.
For example, if your boss worries about team culture, you could respond, "I understand that concern. That's why I propose a dedicated 15-minute video check-in every morning and ensuring I'm always available on Slack. My goal is to be even more communicative." Whether you've negotiated a remote job or built a muse, you now have freedom. The question is, what do you do with it? The traditional answer is the 2-week vacation, but that model is flawed. It's often a frantic, expensive, and stressful attempt to escape a life you don't enjoy. The new rich alternative is the mini-retirement. A mini-retirement is an extended period, typically 1 to 6 months, of immersive living and exploration. It's distributed throughout your life instead of being saved for the very end.
To illustrate the philosophy, Ferriss tells the famous parable of the American investment banker and the Mexican fisherman. The banker, on vacation, sees a fisherman come in with a small catch of tuna. The banker starts giving the fisherman business advice. "Why don't you fish for longer? You could catch more fish, buy a bigger boat, than a whole fleet of boats. You could open your own cannery and eventually become a millionaire." The fisherman asks, "And then what would I do?" The banker replies, "Then you could retire, move to a small coastal village, sleep in late, fish a little, play with your kids, and spend your evenings drinking wine with your friends." The fisherman smiles and says, "But that is what I am doing right now." This story cuts to the heart of the deferred life plan's absurdity. Why spend your entire life working tirelessly to earn the right to do something that you could design your life to do right now?
It's important to understand that a mini-retirement is not just a long vacation. It's a tool for lifestyle design. A vacation is an escape from your life. A mini-retirement is an experiment in a new life. It is the real-world testing ground for the dreamlines you created earlier. You think you want to be a painter in Florence? A 3-month mini-retirement living there will tell you if that is your true passion. You think you want to live a simple life by the beach? A 2-month mini-retirement in Vietnam will give you the real answer. This creates a powerful feedback loop for personal growth. You take a mini-retirement to test a dream. You return with new skills, new perspectives, and a refined set of dreams. It is a dynamic process of learning and discovery, the opposite of the static, deferred life plan.
For those who choose the full entrepreneurial path, the final act is to quit the 9-to-5 job. This is when the biggest fears resurface. Let's dismantle the 4 most common phobias of quitting. Phobia 1. Quitting is permanent, and I'll be committing career suicide. This is false. You can almost always get another job. In fact, the skills you gain from building a business or traveling often make you a more interesting candidate.
Phobia 2. I won't be able to pay my bills. This is a failure of planning, not a law of nature. You quit strategically after you have built your muse or saved at least 6 months of living expenses.
Phobia 3. I'll lose my health insurance. This is a logistical problem, not an insurmountable barrier. You can get insurance through Cobra or the private marketplace. It's just a box to check.
Phobia 4. It will ruin my resume. This is the most backward-looking phobia. Who would you rather hire? Candidate A, who did the same job for 5 years, or Candidate B, who has the same skills but also built a business and became fluent in Italian while living in Rome? A well-spent period of liberation doesn't create a gap on your resume. It creates a story.
The biggest and most unexpected challenge for many who succeed is the existential crisis that follows. Now what? For your entire life, your identity and purpose have likely been tied to your work. When that is suddenly removed, it can create a terrifying void. This is why the definition phase was so critical. The goal of this entire process is not idleness.
It is not to sit on a beach drinking cocktails for the rest of your life. That would quickly become a new kind of hell, a life devoid of challenge, growth, and meaning. The true purpose of this newfound freedom is to replace unfulfilling work with learning, service, and passion. It's about finally having the time to pursue a true vocation, something you feel called to do, whether it pays or not.
It's about having the freedom to be fully present for your family and friends. It's about having the time to get into the best shape of your life. It's about having the space to contribute, to learn, to write that book that's been inside you.
This brings us to our closing story. Imagine your life is a game where you are juggling 5 balls in the air. You name them: work, family, health, friends, and spirit. You're keeping all of these in the air. You will soon understand that the work ball is a rubber ball. If you drop it, it will bounce back. You can find a new job. You can start a new business. But the other 4 balls, family, health, friends, and spirit, are made of glass. If you drop one of these, it will be irrevocably scuffed, marked, nicked, damaged, or even shattered. They will never be the same.
The 4-hour workweek is not about getting rid of the rubber ball. Work can be a source of satisfaction and contribution. It is about learning to design a life where you can strategically put the rubber ball down for periods of time, so that you can give your full, undivided attention to carefully and lovingly juggling the glass ones.
We have journeyed through the entire DEAL framework: definition, elimination, automation, and liberation. This isn't just a collection of clever productivity hacks. It is a proposal for a new operating system for your life. But knowledge is useless without action. The entire philosophy boils down to one single, powerful idea: breaking the lifelong habit of paralysis. It's about ending the cycle of waiting, waiting for the perfect time, waiting for permission, waiting for someday.
The perfect time will never arrive. The conditions will never be just right. That is a comforting illusion that keeps you safe and trapped. So, I am not going to ask you to quit your job tomorrow. I am going to ask you to do something much, much smaller. I want you to take out that Dreamline worksheet you created. I want you to look at that final column, first action step. Pick one, the smallest one, the one that takes 5 minutes or less. And I want you to do it right now, the moment this podcast ends.
Send that one email. Make that one Google search. Make that one phone call. Because the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. And your new reality, your life of freedom, begins with that single, small, immediate action. Everything we have talked about today is possible. The choice to begin is yours.
What are you waiting for?